Oh, hello. I didn't see you there, Internet. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotseben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And two good friends of ours, Tiago.
Yeah.
And Rose.
Hi.
Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are the newcomers. We hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series that's near and dear to us. Today, we have all played through the final case of Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, Turnabout Ablaze. This was a massive one, folks, and we kind of went through hell and high water to get here, through both incredibly complex holiday schedules and sickness, but we have made it through here, and this case is massive. Instead of the usual full in-depth summary, if I were to do the 5-sentence summary writing exercise that is often taught in schools, such a task for this case might be described by some as monumental or Herculean or perhaps even unwise. So anyway, here I go. Sentence 1, and you guys hold me to this. In a steel samurai-infested embassy building that contains two nations torn asunder, Kay Faraday is accused of murdering Bobbly's ambassador, Manny Cochin. Sentence 2. Miles Edgeworth must defend her while also unraveling the smuggling ring, pinpointing its leader, and running between the two halves of the Bobbly's and Cadopian embassies. 3. A second murder is discovered, making things even more complicated than those two damn statues that these embassies have. Sentence 4. Eventually, Miles and the rest of the crew finger the Cadopian ambassador, Quercus Alba, however, he has diplomatic immunity, aka extraterritorial rights, which he reminds us about quite frequently. Sentence 5. Thanks to the intervention of everyone lending their power to Edgeworth in a drawn-out spirit bomb, they finally negate Alba's defenses, wring a confession out of him, and bring him to justice. Anyway, cameos for everyone.
Okay.
Well, that pretty much covers it. Not bad.
Yeah, that does cover it. There was like the end of the game cameo for everybody. There was a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, cameos for all.
This case, is this the longest? Because it feels like the longest.
If it's not, I'll always think it is.
Yeah.
It must be.
I don't know the exact word count. I did do a cursory Google to see how this compared to Case 5 of Game 1. And I found people arguing about it, but I didn't find any hard evidence. Maybe I was just looking in the wrong place. I guess you could check an exact word count, but that doesn't quite account for how they feel, because this feels longer, right? This is not divided up into chunks. And I spoke to everybody here individually before we recorded this. Like these were conversations were separate. We did not say what we are about to say to each other before this. But I think you all know what I'm talking about. Dessy, would you like to go first and say exactly what you were thinking about this case?
Yeah, it should have been 2 cases.
Tiago, would you like to say what you think about this case?
It should have been 2 fucking cases.
And Rose, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, this is 2 cases, dog.
This thing is 2 cases smashed together. It's like they said, oh my god, it's the final case of the game. We have to go all out. We got to beat our previous record. We have to one-up ourselves from the previous game. So let's make it even bigger.
You really
and
don't,
better
guys.
than
It's
the
okay.
last one. But it's so much. And listen, I fully admit that we may have amplified the effect of it feeling longer by us having to do this on a rough deadline, to record the podcast and that sort of thing. Whereas if you were a normal person playing this case on your own pace, you could just, take some time off and say, well, this is kind of long. I'm going to take a break and come back to it later. Whereas we had to go, well, we have to finish this so that we can record it before the end of the freaking year. But it still feels massive. So yes, we are not going to get into every single little detail on this case because it is so big. So we're going to kind of just talk big plot points and vibes and probably focus a lot on some of the initial like setup of it and then a lot of the ending. Because the middle is a lot of back and forth and a lot of gathering evidence and then a lot of using it very quickly and then immediately clearing it out of your inventory like moments later. There are 3 instances in this case in which Edgeworth goes, you know what, I think I should go through all of my evidence and clear all that out because I don't need a lot of this shit.
We hit 4 pages of evidence.
I know.
That's too much.
It's so much. We also get a lot of evidence for concepts here as well. Not like, oh, this is like, yes, we have the 2 pieces of evidence of the statues, right? We have the 2 statues, but we also have stuff that's just like so-and-so's testimony, or the idea of Quercus Alba's injury. It is not like we actually have his injury or his bandages or something in our inventory. It's just like, no, we're just going to point that out. So there's a little bit of, I don't know, muddling of the use evidence, but this whole game has done that occasionally here and there. It just feels like it happens a lot more here. Because we're operating outside of the courtroom and we are attempting to take somebody down who has extraterritorial rights and can't be,
Boy.
dealt with through the usual methods.
They try to like, die hard this one, right? Like, oh, the villain's especially sneaky because he has an ambassadorship. So we have to enlist all the special help of everyone, including the Steel Samurai, the Pink Princess, but it's Larry and Wendy Oldbag. Every like affable like NPC you could think about is here, except for one, which is Emma Skye, and that does hurt me.
You wish she was here?
Why the fuck not? If fucking Wendy Oldbag gets to be here.
If she gets to be in 2 cases out of this game, why not Emma?
I feel like out of all the sidekicks to get the least fucking built out of the fucking games, she could have had a chance. Although Care Faraday does get like a cool resolution here. Oh yeah, because we also solved the Yatagarasu. Did we even mention that we solved who the Yatagarasu is and all that shit?
Oh, that happens too. That also happens here.
I was kind of right.
The Yatagarasu turns out to be a 3-man group of Detective Bad, Callisto Yu, who's a spy for the ambassador in the smuggling group, and Kay Faraday's dad, who I can't remember is the older. I'm gonna guess his name. Is it Niles?
No.
Is it Heaven?
What?
No.
Does it begin with a K?
He doesn't even remember.
I'm remembering Faraday's name right now. I'm pulling it up.
It's like Brian or something stupid.
I'm pulling up his name right now.
Michael. Lionel.
You keep guessing until I tell you, all right?
Frank, James, John, Nick.
Tiago.
Nick?
Okay, I'm going to tell you now. It's Burn.
Fuck! Burn?
Close to Brian. Close to Brian. I'm almost there.
B-Y-R-N-E.
So you
Burn
figure out
Faraday.
the true Yatagarasu. Kay's whole lineage is that, like, Burn Faraday was the tech man. Callisto Yu used attorney skills. And Detective...
We actually laughed while we were playing this, in that, yes, they go through, like, yeah, Detective Bad could utilize the police force to, get information and then cover it up and make sure that the Yatagarasu wasn't investigated, right? And then, you could, she could use her spy abilities to sneak, and then Burn could lawyer. And it's like, okay, hang on. Did we think this one through the whole way? But, essentially he would be managing cases related to the Yatagarasu in court to ensure that they go the way they want them to, so that their identities are not revealed. But yes, it is funny. We should back up a little bit, because that is also the climax of the case.
The climax of the first case.
That's not
Yeah.
even the climax, though, right? There's like 4 fucking climaxes.
Yeah. So obviously, Kay Faraday is accused of the first murder, which is Manny Cochin. And then while you are working on that, there's a fire in the embassy. You're working on that and trying to solve that mystery. And then you also have to move between the two other embassies. And you also encounter that there's a murder in the other building. And that's the thief, whose name I am also blanking on now.
Mask to Mask 2.
Mask to Mask 2.
Shitty Mask to Mask ripoff.
Yeah,
He's
Mask to
just
Mask
like a
imitator.
random burglar. Like he has like his identity does not matter here. It never does. You get to know it too. He's like some random dude.
They just give it to you, right? Yeah, because it's not important to the case.
It's not.
It's just that it was a murder that happened here, so that you can pin it on the big bad later in the case.
Yeah.
So you are moving between these two embassies. You have Franziska von Karma showing up, and she's helping you out. And there is a fun bit because you essentially have to say, all right, so I want to investigate. Like Miles says, I want to investigate this. So to do that, I'm going to become Franziska's subordinate. And so Franziska rubs that in the whole time. So you get some fun interactions there. Between
I didn't
the two
mind
of them.
that.
So that I think that's some of the more enjoyable stuff is these small interactions between characters we already have. Like even though it's frustrating with how long some of the stuff goes, I did enjoy some of the stuff with Larry, who shows up because he is playing the Steel Samurai. We should back up just again. There's so much in this case. We should back up again. The Steel Samurai is performing a stage show live at the embassy because the embassies are essentially showing off. They each claim that they have the real original gold statue because these embassies were part of a state, a country that was once unified. They split up several years back, and they both claim that they have the real statue that represents their country. So they're going to have an evaluator there to determine which statue is real. And as part of that, I guess the Steel Samurai is going to perform a stage show here to, I don't know, unite the countries and bring peace and love to Cadopia and Alabast. And family, yeah.
It's not Cadopia and Alabast. Cadopia was the original country. It's Alabast and
Babali. Babal, yeah.
Babal.
Yeah, so so you have the Steel Samurai performing. It's like if you had the Power Rangers performing to unite Eastern and Western Germany. It's insane.
I kind of
right?
wish we did. I kind of wish we did. Like
instead, so you've got the Steel Samurai performing. The Pink Princess is here as well. You've also got the Iron Infant, which is a tiny doll Steel Samurai, essentially.
Not a real baby.
Not a real baby. Which is critical later because it gets very waterlogged.
We do drown it.
Yeah, they do drown the baby. And of course, Steel Samurai, Miles gets so excited to get an autograph from the Steel Samurai in costume, and it is only, an hour later or whatever it is that then he realizes that Larry is actually the one in the suit. And he gets so mad. He rips up the Steel Samurai signature. It's so good.
It's so funny because Franziska's like, so yeah, why were you here, Miles? And he's like, just watching the unification of two beautiful countries. And like, Franziska's like, there's a Toku show at the theater. Were you here for that? And he goes, no,
definitely
never.
not.
Absolutely not. Never. What a
like, so why are you mad at Larry right now? No particular reason. He was a waste of a man. And like, there's so many jabs we get in with Wendy Yelbag. We get a lot of jabs in with Larry, who took this job because he's in love with Mindy.
Who we don't see ever.
We don't ever see that. It also does not matter.
She's the lady normally playing the Pink Princess, but she got sick, so Wendy had to fill in. Larry doesn't know this and macks on her and attempts to woo her for a bit while she's in costume before he realizes his mistake. And this is critical to the murder mystery in the second embassy, but we really don't need to get into the details to that because it ends up, the only thing that really matters is that a murder happened there. That's and a guy did that murder, and it wasn't Larry, but we have to go through this wild goose chase to prove that Larry didn't do it first because he was sneaking around.
It was a goose chase too. Like, had it figured out, and I was like, Larry, look at this, and he was like, no.
Larry straight up says some shit that if you said that in court, I'd be like, you're the villain. Like you said shit. He said, I'm not going to say my testimony, but you have to prove it's wrong. And we're all just like, what the fuck does that mean? Larry, what? There's 2 murders. We proved that both of our comedic friends, Larry and Kay, are innocent. We have to prove that they're tied together, because they're both like, they can't be tied together. That's crazy. But it's like, it happened on the same night during a unification event. Clearly it's fucking tied together, you morons.
Nothing matters. I hate this statue. I don't care. You know what? I'm coming right out. We're doing a lovely summary. I don't even care who did it anymore. I'm so sick of this fucking case. Hardline stance.
Hardline stance. You hate this case?
I hate this case. I was doing okay. Francisco was there. Things were moving along, and this is the first one where I think I would not have finished this if I didn't use a guide. If I was playing this as a normal person, I would have stopped playing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's an indictment.
I got really frustrated.
Now, Rose, I do have to ask this because I know who you are. Is this because you, played at the very last minute, or did you actually have time?
No, I actually started a lot more in advance than I usually do.
Okay.
And this was, we did briefly speak, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is a really long one. We might want to start with this one sooner than normal. So that is not on Rose this time. Don't worry. This is
I actually started on time.
I know, because sometimes you play them late at night and you get mad because you have to go to sleep and go to bed.
Yeah, well, I also hate going to sleep, but
I don't have a problem with sleeping.
Let's peel back the curtain a little bit. We extended this recording because I got sick. I got sick, right? So we had more time to play this case. And I'm just like, thank God we had that time, because even I completed it on time too, but also
I would have done it on time. I just would.
You would have been
even more furious.
You would have been nothing but ash, Rose.
I literally already am. My life is falling apart.
Yeah, but that's unrelated to Ace Attorney.
I finished the case.
So this case, I enjoy all of the moving parts. It's like a horrible Rube Goldberg machine of murder.
Horrible Rube Goldberg machine.
There's smuggling. There's stealing items. There's the Steel Samurai. There's Interpol agents turning out to be Callisto U. Oh, by the way, we have to go back to fucking the other embassy. We have to go back to the other embassy
because so confusing.
Because we realized that, oh yeah, if it wasn't Kay, it was the only other person in the building at the time, which was Sheena. Sheena? Sheena?
Yep.
Sheena. Sheena? It was Sheena, Lang's assistant, who also turns out to be Callisto Yu, which is, I think, a wild twist, because considering how serious she was, and then the second she started laughing, I had the, oh shit moment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Was this a shock? Was this, because this is kind of the big reveal of the case, because after this reveal happens, and you're like, oh wait, the case is still going, then you have to figure out who else did it, and then it's kind of obvious, because there's only one person who could be the final candidate.
There's only one other person who's, interesting enough to be a killer.
Yeah, but did you think that this was going to be who you was?
I don't fucking phrase it like that.
No.
Phrase it like that. You're setting me up here. Here's the thing. I did not think that Callisto Yu was going to be Sheena. I did not think that she'd come in disguise. I thought she'd just be somewhere in the building. I didn't think that I'd have to think about another character being a different character.
She was there all along.
She was there when we found those funny little suits and in the carnival.
Yeah.
And she saw us put them, use technology to figure out a mascot murder. She saw all of that. She saw Emma Sky, and she saw us talk to Wendy Oldbag. She witnessed all that, and she didn't
She watched us embarrass ourselves from day one.
And she held that in. She held that in tight.
Wait, did she see when Miles slid down the drain pipe at the theme park? because that's might be my highlight of this game still.
Oh no,
That little
I wish.
animation.
Yeah.
God, I wish.
They were like off camera at
Damn.
that moment, so they unfortunately, unless they were looking with a spyglass, which not out of the question, but
yeah. But she was operating as Lang's assistant, so she was probably just like getting the scrolls ready for him to pull out, so he could pull out a random quote. Also, the funniest bit, Lang does show up because he's like, I'm an Interpol agent, and also I hate smuggling. He gives a birthday gift to one of his subordinates, and his subordinate goes, "It's not my birthday." And then he goes, "I know it's not your birthday. It's your wife's younger brother's wife's birthday. Give that gift to her and tell her I said hello." That's what the fuck? Why do you know that?
It's so
That's weird.
goofy.
It's weird, right?
It's legitimately hilarious. I thought it was super funny. I guess you don't, Rose.
It's so over the top.
I don't know if I thought anything was funny. I'm lost.
I thought it was funny. So yeah, you confront Sheena. I'm getting a little nasally here. I need to like take a for a moment to blow my nose.
No worries. But yes, you confront
keep this
Sheena.
in, but like don't put the nose blow in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just put a trumpet sound.
Just like the little like kids going yay, stock sound effect. Tiago loves that one.
I do love that one. All right, so we have to confront Sheena, and Detective Bat shows up. Someone shoots her in the leg. I forget who. No, so
Lang gets shot in the leg for
yeah,
no
so what
reason.
happens, Sheena takes Kay hostage with like a knife,
Yes.
and then both like two different people are pointing guns at her. It's Detective Bad and Gumshoe, I think, and I think Bad pulls the trigger or Gumshoe pulls the trigger.
Bad pulls the trigger.
Gumshoe would never pull the trigger.
I think he would slip.
He would never.
He would slip it. That's the thing, though. You know what I mean? He'd be like, "Oh, whoopsie."
He turned in his own badge and gun if that were the case. I can't do this.
And that's why Gumshoe's the only good cop.
So yeah, Detective Pat goes to shoot. Lang takes the bullet and then goes back to work. He's like, "All right, case isn't over yet." After arresting Callisto Yu, the Yagarasu has 3 legs because it's 3 people. But then Kay Faraday's like, "Now that I arrested my father's killer, time to keep the good legacy of the Yatagarasu going." And I'm like, I don't know if it was good, but okay, Kay.
Okay, Kay.
Okay, Kay. You sent Gumshoe off to go investigate with Kay, and I was just like, that's probably good for them. You know what I mean? Like, they need to, like, go play.
They do absolutely nothing to the whole time. You go and check on them, and Miles is like, "How's it going?" And they're like, "We're having so much fun." And he's like, "Cool."
Cool.
So nothing got done.
I did a Resident Evil puzzle with the shadows to figure out how the statues made the shadows of Yatagarasu show up.
Oh, yeah. Again, wild stretch. Does not quite make sense when you line it up, but then the game goes, "That's right."
That's right. And then Francisca's like, "My God, Miles, you're a genius." But I would never say that. You have to, like, go back to the other office, because then you have to prove that the statues were done, like, it was on a conveyor belt, because there's a picture of something flying through the air, and it turns out to be
insane conveyor belt machine from the 2 offices.
It is a wire attached to both the ceiling fans, and using momentum to push one statue from one embassy to another, that they had to be switched across country lines, because one of them is fake, but the fake also have the plates from the counterfeit scheme. Then, the fake statue was used to kill Master Mask 2. Now, who was here while all this happened? Obviously, the person whose office this belongs to, Alba.
Yep.
And after saying that sentence, I thought to myself, wow, that's a whole case. Crazy.
Yeah, right. It would normally be a whole case. We had a whole case about some stupid cape falling on a bust and then lifting it up,
They both make a comment
line
about that. They both go like, "Yeah, we had to deal with some flying cases before, haven't we, Francisca?" And Francisca's like, "Fuck, you're right."
She's like, "God damn it. Don't remind me of that." Yeah.
I just got so lost. And also, like, we bitched about the statues briefly, but, like, y'all, the statues, which one was which? I still don't know. I looked up the guide and I still picked the wrong one because one of them is because the description is literally like, this is the Babalee statue, but it's actually the Albast statue, and this is the Albast statue, but it's actually the Babalee statue. It literally says that in the descriptions.
It says that to fuck you up. So,
and that's why where
it did its job.
I stopped having fun.
So Babalee's, if I'm correct, Babalee's was the fake one because it had the plates inside of it. And
hollow.
It was hollow. And it had to be switched for the real one that Alba had. Alba was like, I can pin this on the Babalee's embassy, specifically Manikochin, if I make it look like he was trying to steal the real statue. And I get the fake one, because what I really want is the plates. So, he orchestrates this whole thievery shenanigans in order to make it look like Manny was the head of the smuggling ring, and also a murderer. Now...
Yeah. And also, this game has no conception of how heavy gold actually is. Gold is incredibly heavy.
Made of gold.
Yeah, these are gold. The real statue is supposedly a gold statue, according to the game, and that there's no way it would have been able to be suspended on that wire. But the game does not seem to realize that gold is quite that heavy.
The weight, Ben. That's how they were able to use the momentum. You know. From the ceiling fan.
I understand that part, but it still would have been too much.
Statue
I realize I'm bringing too much reality to this case.
Both ceiling fans would be ripped from the ceiling.
So Meyer Fake can talk to ghosts. And communicate with them.
But a gold statue can't be suspended by wire. Yes, I know.
Here's the thing that I get fucked up.
It just better be a really good wire.
Right.
It was a really good wire.
The contractors who put those fans in.
Oh my god.
They
That's
put
what
those
I was about to say.
Real good. They hit the studs and everything. They're like, yeah, these suckers aren't ever coming out.
This building could burn down, and the only thing standing would be both of these fans.
This building burned down twice. Building burned down. There's 2 fires. We didn't get to the fact that there's 2 fires for no fucking reason. I mean, not no reason. The game makes some justification for why this is. To put characters in certain places at certain times, and for why the water is used in the pond, because they use the water from the pond to put out fires. But oh my god, it still doesn't really truly matter in the end. There's just so much simplification that could have gone on here.
Truly does not.
Ben, chill. Listen, I got this. Check this out. The reason there's 2 fires is because they have to smuggle something. Oh, they have to smuggle Manikochin's body to the other embassy.
I know. He had to be moved.
He had to be moved.
And he couldn't be wet.
Because if he was wet, that would make some things happen, right? So, like, how do we get the water to go? We start several fires. Sheena, you're in charge of making several fires at this embassy so that we can smuggle the body through. This is quite possibly the most convoluted murder that has possibly ever happened. I don't think that this is any way something that could not have been like put on an ambassador, because it's so fucking convoluted.
Well, he wasn't an ambassador at the end.
True.
He was stripped of his ambassadorship.
So the reason, alright, so we solved the mass murder. He was killed by Alva because he was there, I guess. It doesn't matter why he died. It straight up does not matter. It is not important.
Yeah, this guy matters 0.
Manikochin, the guy that like died because we all thought he was the bad guy, his murder matters the most because he was murdered during the Steel Samurai show, and he ruined art, and that's crazy. And
the wild thing is then you have to prove that Manikochin was murdered in a place that you have not visited in game.
Yes.
A place that you have to, like, the game has implied existed and starts talking about.
And shows you a picture of.
Yeah, it shows you a picture of it, and you have to keep this in your mind.
And they're just actually, we are out of time. You can't go there. And I'm like, wow.
No. So what happens is that it pulls up the 3D diagram of the embassy, and then Miles goes, okay, so he wasn't murdered in the Babalee's embassy, and he never entered the Alabest embassy. And there's only one building left, and that's the theater that's in the middle of them. So obviously you have to pick the theater.
Right.
But we, as the player, never get to go in it. We were just there for the Steel Samurai, so...
yes.
I don't think it's that much of a stretch to think that he was murdered in the theater. I think that was like a pretty logical conclusion.
No, I think it was a fine logical jump. I'm just saying that, like, from a gameplay perspective, this was never an environment that you've inhabited, right?
Yeah.
And instead it exists only as a single graphic that you are shown twice, basically. And you have to go like, okay, we're going to just make the jump that is where it had to be. Like, it makes logical sense. And the logic to get there is fine. And I also kind of like the way that they catch him in it, which is literally Miles Edgeworth utilizing his Steel Samurai knowledge to catch Alba out, you know, because Alba claims that he saw the special Steel Samurai move when he did not. He only saw or heard the rehearsal or whatever. And when the rehearsal did not use that same move in the actual show, that's how you catch him in the gotcha moment, essentially.
Yeah, Larry comes out and is like, I broke my spear, so I couldn't have done the summer rain stab. So I had to do the samurai sushi slash. And then the ambassador is like, obviously I saw the summer rain stab. And then Miles Edgeworth pulls out a word gun and goes, no, you didn't, idiot. And shoots him with facts and logic.
That is, Miles would love that. He would love
Miles
a word
Edgeworth,
gun.
Steel Samurai gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Right.
So you prove that he was scared there. And this is when Gumshoe comes in because he finds the wagon. Because then Miles is like,
oh my god, the sprite for the wagon, though.
Yeah, we do need to talk about. Also, another
Let's
notable
spend 10 minutes
thing.
talking about the wagon.
Yeah. Okay. We should talk about the wagon for 10 minutes, and after that we should talk about how Lang gets to say bastard.
Oh. Yeah, Lang gets to swear.
He says a swear word.
This is T for teen.
Yeah,
We've gotten one or two swears in the past. We've gotten a damn and a hell, I think, in the past.
Yeah. But
in the main trilogy. But yeah, it has not happened, I don't think,
hell
in this game
and
until
bastard
now.
have a very different, enunciation, I think, of seriousness.
Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS, they can't say bastard, so they say dastard. And
really? Oh, yeah, that's so funny. Oh,
they go,
my
you,
gosh.
oh, you dastards. And I was like, damn, that's pretty hard, actually. So you have to prove that the ambassador killed Manny Koshin in the theater, then put his body in the Steel Samurai Iron Infant cart. Then you have to prove that the Steel Samurai was able to carry that body to the Alabes embassy, where Manny Koshin was then able to smuggle it to the other embassy through the underwater pipe, which is why the fire had to happen so the water could happen. Then Sheena took the body, placed it in the room that it was found in, blamed Kay for it. And you have to prove all of this. And then you have to go, alright, so how do we prove that he actually did any of this? Because a lot of this sounds bogus. And then you fucking brain blast and remember that, oh yeah, Alba had an injury. What if that injury wasn't from what he said?
Other people also have blood.
God damn it. You literally do realize that. You test the blood on a thing and it's not Manny Koshin's blood. And it's God, who could it be? There's only one other person in the room. And the entire room is stumped by this. Francisca is stumped. The hardened seasoned detective is stumped. The child is stumped. The Wendy Oldbag stumped. Larry's stumped. Alba's stumped. He doesn't know either. And it's his blood. We jumped ahead a little bit. We spent a solid hour just getting Alba to not leave the premises.
Yeah.
There are so many false endings in which Alba's like, I'm gonna leave now, and then somebody comes in and goes, no, you can't leave until I say my piece. And he's like, well, I guess I have to wait until you say your piece. And then they say their shit, and then you get to prove a little bit more, and then he goes, but that's not enough to catch me for it, so I'm gonna leave. And then somebody else comes in and goes, wait, I gotta say my piece. And he goes, well, I guess I have to listen to you.
Buddy, you should have just left. I wish you had
just left.
As I said, I don't care if he did it anymore. I no longer give a shit.
Here's the thing, though. It would have been actually kind of hard if we caught him, at the airport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool, yeah.
If we caught him,
last
Columbo
minute,
style,
before he gets on the plane, yeah.
Exactly, because we already have a map for the airport. So we could have just been at the airport.
We could have done that. Oh, that would have been great. I mean,
we're geniuses.
We get Larry doing his one more thing. We get Gumshoe doing his one more thing. We get Lang doing his one more thing. We even get Wendy. She's like, I've got to say something too. And like, then she's like, why? She doesn't actually have anything to add. She's like, I just wanted to be a part of the,
She really
the
did.
group. It's very, very
it's
funny.
Crazy. Francisca, oh my god. We forget the reason that Alba allows us to re-enter his office. And the reason he allows us to do it is that Lang accuses Francisca of all the murders. And then he goes, yeah, that was a bluff. I just needed to get back into the office. And then Francisca's like, how dare you, you simple man, accuse me of this.
Men, huh?
I've never had, like, this ending was almost Clue-like, where we have every single fucking member of this goddamn case in a single room waiting to hear an explanation as if we're fucking Tim Curry. And
Yeah.
like, it's the goofiest ending possible, and that's kind of why I like it. That's why I come out of this case positively, is because although it was such a drag, I feel like I spent 3 hours on this case, and at the very end, everyone was loosey-goosey. Even Miles Edgeworth, who's like, I know this because I'm a Steel Samurai fan, and then Francisco goes, what? And he goes, never mind.
Also, Miles has a bit where he's like, should I present this videotape that's illegal evidence or not?
I hate that
And
choice.
then he brain
Miles.
blasts and he imagines Manfred von Karma telling him victory is the only thing that matters. And then he brain blasts again and remembers Tyrell Bad telling him that sometimes you're going to have to go outside the law to take down those who are above it. And Miles says, well, how can I reconcile these two things? I don't know. I guess I'm going to present this videotape because that's literally the only option I have.
You do have like a moment where he goes like, man, what would that man do? What was
Also,
him?
you're not in court, so...
And then he's, and he goes, well, I'm not in court, and Phoenix would do this, so here we go.
The wildest part is that I actually said no. And you know what he does? He just goes, nah, that's silly, and then pulls out the fucking videotape. Yeah, it is a choice that does not matter. It is a choice where I said no, and he goes, no. I can't be weak here. I must
No,
show
player
the
is
evidence.
wrong.
Player is wrong, and then
How
pulls out
bold
the
of you
phone.
to assume
I
that you know better than
Oh,
me,
you
Miles
You
Edgeworth.
thought you were in control?
the game series has taught me that, like, saying no at certain times is a valid strategy. So I thought that this was that time, and then Miles was like, what are you, an idiot? And then pulls up the fucking tape, and I'm like, okay, never mind, you know more than me, sir. I was just like, what the fuck, man? So you pull out a tape that, like, damns Alba after he goes through his, like, fucking Super Saiyan transformation. He's supposed to be like a Tengu, right? He gives off mad Tengu vibes.
Yeah.
The long nose, yeah.
Long nose and, like, scraggly beard. He's like a hobbled little man at first, and then he transforms into, like, a big buff daddy.
And by transforms, you mean he just stands up straight.
Yeah, he just straightens his back.
Reveals his vast collection of military medals.
Yeah, and then, like, that's what damns him, because you see the military medals in the recording. And he goes, isn't that your shiny medal that no one on this country has? And he goes, yes.
Well,
Damn.
I guess that's me.
And also you get that literally seconds before you have to present it. Like, it
crazy.
comes up and then you instantly present it as you're watching the
And
video.
I immediately saw it, and I was like,
You didn't have even time to, like, roll it around in your head and think about it. It's just like it pops up and then you got to present it.
yeah.
Anyway, Quercus alba is the scientific name for white oak trees.
Oh!
That's the joke. He's old and woody.
He
like
likes
a tree.
plants. You notice he likes plants because he's grown a lot of plants.
Yep.
Well, his
plant
country is the
office.
plant
Joke.
country. You know what I mean? He's from plant country. I like the ambassador from the other country. He was actually really cool. I did think he was a murderer.
He
I
has
did.
Because he was, like, too nice,
He
basically.
was too nice. He was wringing his hands constantly for money for coupons for his country.
Yeah, and then you remember, like, that's just customer service.
That's just
Yeah.
like, he's an
He's got that, like-
ambassador. He's
like-
he's the highest position at this embassy. Why is he begging me for, like, a fucking tips and tricks? Like, I did end up loving him because he just straight up goes like, I don't care what kind of man I seem to you, but I'm doing this for the sake of my country. And I was like, damn, dude, that's a fucking patriot. I can't hate him. Unless this country does something evil, then I will hate him. As far as I know,
that wasn't revealed in the story.
Exactly. As far as I know, the Bobbleys fine country. But like never been. Neither will Miles Edgeworth. It's because it's
nobody
Cadopian.
does because they reunify.
Exactly, it's Cadopia now. Bro.
So okay, so we've gotten through like the majority of it. I want to pick at a few like little bits here and there before we kind of like
give game thoughts.
Yeah, and also like I do have one little like fun bit at the end, so I want to save a little time for that. But I want to ask y'all, because I have a piece of evidence in mind here. What do you think is the dumbest evidence that comes up so far in this case? Because for me, it's the wet guitar pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the most misleading piece of evidence.
A wet guitar pick, also second, this is a combo one for me, was the green fire lantern and the concept of
fire
counterfeit currency, because there's counterfeit currency. The concept of the counterfeit currency catching on fire, and I was like, why is this two separate pieces of evidence?
Right.
But that was a piece of evidence that should have existed that didn't. The wet guitar pick sucks. Also, the perfume, because at the very end you go, oh, we can prove that Shinna is CCU because we have her bottle of perfume that has been carefully preserved in a plastic bag with all her fingerprints on it. And I go, bitch, what plastic bag?
Yeah, Kay just says...
you can't even inspect it! You get nothing!
Kay just says, I did this, trust me. And you just... Okay.
Why would she lie?
It does not appear.
She's the Yatagarasu. She only searches for the truth.
It's a piece of evidence that I didn't have all the information about. I didn't know that it was contained in a bag. I would have thought of that a lot sooner if I had known.
Here's what I thought for the perfume thing. I thought that when I pulled it out, Miles was just going to say, I bet you smell like this perfume right now. I thought that's what he was going to say.
Yeah, or Lang was going to be like, oh, that's that perfume that you use all the time.
Exactly. That would have been a way more rational
Circumstantial
thing.
at best, of course, but...
No, it's a very rare perfume that hasn't been sold in 7 years, Rose. Come on.
Boo, boo.
It's just, yeah, again, that is so many stretches.
That is I love the idea that, like, at any moment while fucking Kay Faraday had, like, a gun put to her head, or when she was getting, like, solving a mascot mystery, or when she was hopping a fence, that there was a perfectly preserved perfume bottle in her bag.
Yeah,
every time she was seen during this case, she had that perfume bottle.
You have to, like, preserve, like, stuff fairly carefully if you want to keep it.
So Maya can talk to ghosts, and I think that's a really interesting thing about this.
That is the least stupid thing that's happened.
True.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So
there's rules to that, at least.
That's true. There is. We talked about it in length. I think for the stupidest piece of evidence, I will have to give it up for the guitar pick, only because it is mislabeled. The guitar pick. So what you guys don't know is that after they had the Steel Samurai show, they had a show by the Jammin' Ninja. I thought it was a guitar pick from the Jammin' Ninja show.
That would have made sense.
And I was like, when are we going to tie the ninja into this? Maybe the ninja's Yatagarasu. Maybe the ninja's CCU. But we never see the ninja. We don't even get to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a fucking red herring until, like, late in the case.
And then he goes, this pick is actually a flower petal belonging to the knife that killed Banikocha. And it's like, I guess, man, like, I don't know. Why the fuck didn't you tell me it wasn't a guitar
But,
pick?
like, part of the evidence is that Miles says this was wet because it was in the water as part of, like, when they were putting out the fire and everything.
Miles Edgeworth said it first. And water is wet.
Yeah. And so, like, the idea is, like, when I picked it up, it was still wet. And you hold it out and go, aha! And it's like, what hang on. But Has it been wet this whole time? Has it been wet in your pocket?
Yes.
Like
it's been wet this entire time.
That's gross, Miles.
This soggy pick that you've been like lugging around, and like the idea is that it's you have to be paying close attention to realize, oh, it is labeled a pick, and everybody keeps calling it a pick because that's what they thought it was, but it's not really. It's actually part of this pedal on the hilt of this knife, and it's like fine. But it's just bizarre that
would not have got there if I didn't have a guide. There was too much evidence to brute force it.
Yeah, there's way too much evidence to brute force it. My God,
you would
dude.
you take so little damage in this game, but when you have 4 pages of evidence, if you present something wrong, present the wrong one too many times, you'll still die.
I did get that. I was simply right on that one. I did see the knife pattern and thought it was weird that it was like a citrus. You know what I mean? Because it looks like a citrus without the petal. And I was like, is it supposed to be a citrus? Are you guys an orange country now? No, they're a flower country. I hate that piece of evidence. My least favorite piece of evidence is the card that Detective Bad gives you, because he reveals that the Yatagarasu logo is the same exact logo as a smuggling ring, and they chose that logo to mock the smuggling ring. But then you have 2 cards with the exact same fucking pattern, just in reverse colors, and I couldn't fucking tell which one was which. I fucking forgot.
Just like the statues.
Just like the statues.
We've got so many things that are like similar but just slightly different.
Why would the smuggling ring use that as a logo? Why do they care about the Yatagarasu?
Well, yeah, they'd be like, all right, we got to call our graphic designer back up. We got to change our logo now. We can't be having the same logo as the Yatagarasu.
Yeah, like, it's confusing. And like,
it wouldn't pass copyright court.
Bad goes, Faraday had these and was like keeping them hidden because, the lawyer, Jack Sportsman, was stealing the VHS tape and all the other evidence, and I'm the one who pulled the gun at you the first night because I wanted to steal evidence, because I like stealing. I'm a Yatagarasu, Miles Edgeworth. I'm a bad guy. I'm the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
yep, you got it.
I like Detective Bad because then he goes, all right, arrest me, Gumshoe. And Gumshoe has a really tearful moment. And then Detective Bad goes, no, you still got a detective spirit, son. And he's like 35.
I like Detective Bad because he's a cool old man.
He's pretty swell guy.
CCU loves getting arrested, and then she goes, I didn't kill that guy.
It's Callisto, you, actually.
Well, oh, yeah, who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah, I did that earlier, too.
CCU is her fake sister that didn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
She pretended to be CCU's sister. Callisto U isn't even her real name.
And she's just some generic bobbly spy or whatever. I guess all best. Who gives a shit? I can't believe I can actually keep the fucking embassies open in my mind. That's how long I spent on this case, where I actually know the world building. I actually know... I can't. It's in my knowledge. You know the Bobblese keep the butterfly, and the Alabast has the flower?
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Alright,
So we pin Alba down.
Yeah, we pin him.
His diplomatic immunity, his extraterritorial rights have been revoked. We finally pin him down, and with all that evidence that finally piles up, he confesses, and he is going to go to trial in both countries, both the U.S., apparently, and Alabast.
Well, the murder happened on neutral territory, so it's not like the country could prosecute it. Technically, it was a U.S. murder.
Yeah, but I do believe that they say that there's going to be 2 trials as a result of this.
Yeah, because he killed that fucking guy, Mass to Mass too.
Yeah. So they lay all that out. Everybody's like, "Yay!" And then it just kind of fades to black. And so then we get like our little like aftermath scene with Kay and Edgeworth and Gumshoe all talking about getting ready to go to the trial today for Alba. And Edgeworth being like, oh boy, I'm going to be in court again. It's been a while since I've been in court.
Yeah, he loves court. He loves going to court and losing to Phoenix Wright. He just loves it, dude.
Can't wait to go to my job at the ass-kicking factory today. Can't wait to get my ass kicked.
Can't wait to get spanked by an idiot.
Well, I mean, I guess he's down for that, as we've established.
But like,
And-
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna essentially wrap up here because then Kay says, "All right, we gotta take a selfie together," and Edgeworth is like, "I refuse to have pictures taken. I do not want my image to be captured by that devil machine."
I do not want my spirit stolen.
And Gumshoe's like, "Oh, come on," and Edgeworth,
They force him into a photo against his will.
Yep.
He will sue later that evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then you get, and then you get that you get a long credit sequence with everybody talking and showing where they were and what they've been up to and that kind of thing.
Maggie Bird's working at Gatewaterland, I think. Fucking Lollipops is working at Gatewaterland, I think. A lot of people are working at this fucking carnival. At this fucking theme park for some reason. It just fucking who's that dipshit? The cop that's like bad. He's like not good at his job.
Meekins.
I thought you loved Meekins.
I was gonna call him Morgan Wheatley, not his name. He works there now.
Attorney character.
Yeah.
Emma Sky shows up, but she's still in the auditorium. Did we not let her out?
She's trapped in the park.
She's trying to get the whole time.
It's been day 2. I've been living off of Blue Badger cookies. We talked to who the fuck else was there? Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. God,
yeah.
So many fucking people we talked to.
The ex-fiance of the kid as well, who was part of the fake kidnapping.
Yeah, Lollipops, Lauren Pops. She's also working
Lauren
at Gatewater Plaza or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh no, I've fallen for another man again." Oh.
Bro, she needs like something more.
Girl,
man.
get a
she
hobby.
needs fucking therapy.
Yeah. Work on yourself. Start touching grass.
I've been watching a lot of clips of Law and Order. I don't know why it's showing up on my feed, but it just does. And now I'm just like, come on, Lauren, you can do better. You know? Don't let this fucking criminal drag you down.
We know you have it in you.
We know you have it in you.
So before we wrap up here, I do want to pull up an interview from the developers of Ace Attorney Investigations. This is translated.
Unless it's a fucking apology letter, I'm not sure if I want to hear it.
Hey, you know what? No, the rest of this game has been great. I'll stand by that. I've really liked everything. This case was just, they wanted to make it one case, and it shouldn't have been one case, and now we all had to pay the fucking price, I guess.
I did pay.
So yeah, this interview was translated, as always, by Captain Simon Library. Ash there does great work.
Thank you.
Translating lots of these Famitsu interviews and other various places. So this was an interview from Dengeki Online, and this was done a few months after Investigations came out in Japan. And this was a special Q&A in which fans could submit the questions. So these are questions all asked by fans, and most of them are goofy, but I found some of them fairly entertaining, so I wanted to read a couple of them here because I thought y'all might enjoy them. So a fan asked,
why wasn't Phoenix there?
Yeah.
Where is my boy?
How many of those frilly things does Miles Edgeworth actually own? And Yamazaki answers, he wears them every day, so he can probably never have too few of them. People change shirts or socks every day, so he probably has about as many of those frilly things as those pieces of clothing.
I would say off the dome, he has 14.
Yeah.
2 weeks worth?
2 weeks worth, especially if he gets dirty during one of the days, he can just swap it in for the next one.
He wears one and he carries the spare one in his pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Edgeworth has this aristocratic look to him. Does he stick to Western style in his personal life too? Or is it proper Japanese traditional style? And Yamazaki again answers, his hobby is tea, and he can be picky about teacups, so I'd say his private life is also Western style. I have an idea that Miles isn't really good at separating his professional and private life. That's rather tricky to do, so you'll find his aristocratic feeling in his private life too. But for breakfast, he might silently be eating fried salmon and natto.
I love the idea that he's actually like an Anglophile.
He absolutely is.
He just loves all English shit. But like old English shit. Like he looks at the BBC and goes, that drivel Doctor Who, and like turns it off.
I mean,
but then he's like,
listen.
ooh, Downton Abbey, ooh.
My name is Rose. I'm over Doctor Who.
Oh, all Doctor Who fans just turned off this podcast.
Yeah, sorry guys, but if that's all you can think of to say to me when I introduce myself is, oh, like Doctor Who, we're done here.
You haven't. Wait, no, that was the 9th Doctor, Rose. That's been like 10 years. No one still does that.
Tiago.
No way.
Uh-oh.
No
Tiago.
way. You are not telling me in the second decade of this century.
Yeah, no, people throw Homestuck in now.
Oh.
So
that's also old at this point.
Yeah,
now, too.
you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm old.
You're not that old.
I'm old. People
I think
like
people
Doctor
are just
old.
unimaginative, really.
Yeah, that too.
That's a simple
Happy
answer.
birthday to me.
How come they don't say? Oh yeah, well, happy birthday, Rose. There's your birthday.
Happy
recently.
birthday, Rose.
This is my birthday quite recently, dear listeners.
How come no one mentions the Titanic?
I don't
Hang
know.
on.
Anyway,
I
don't
gotta finish
know.
this interview.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go.
Another question. I want to know how Miles spends his days off. The only thing I can think of is watching videos of Steel Samurai.
Correct.
Yamazaki answers again, Miles is always busy, so I don't think he has much time to relax, but he'd probably listen to classical music while enjoying some black tea, or he'd focus on the chessboard alone. Anyway, he seems the indoor type.
Yeah.
He's watching every Steel Samurai spinoff. He's got a tattoo. He doesn't want to show it.
Miles does need to touch grass for sure.
He's touching tea leaves. It's like grass.
Okay.
It's like grass. I'm just saying. He's
It's a start. It's a start.
Another fan asks, are there some rules to which people Francisca won't hit with her whip? She doesn't seem to hit women that often, but in return, she has no mercy for men.
She will not hit the daughter of a prosecutor. She has hit women before.
She doesn't do it as often, that's true.
Yeah, but she hits women who she thinks is the murderer, and that's any woman who's at the crime scene. So, just don't be near her body. Yeah, that tracks. Everything else makes sense.
Another fan asks, is Lang single? I want to become his bride.
Damn, me first, bitch. Move out the way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yamazaki answers, he is still single. If you want to marry him, you first need to learn to time your finger-pointing pose and removing your sunglasses exactly to his movements.
Wait,
That's fair, though.
does that imply that he and Sheena were a thing?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh my god.
He did take a bullet for her.
Yo, they definitely fucked on the reg. Like, that's why he was so tired.
The immediate jump.
Here's what I think. I think, personally, Lang would fuck every single one of his subordinates. He'd be like, it's for the good of the group. Like,
Funny.
No, that'd be a weird power dynamic. He would never do that.
Another fan asks, I'm really curious what Rhoda Tenero, the flight attendant from Case 2, wears in private. She's the one who designed the suitcase. What does she normally wear? And Iwamoto answers, each single item would be of high quality, but the combination would look awful. A fashion critic would tell her her whole ensemble looks the worst.
Wow, holy shit.
God, actually, she's a
So
queen.
the
I
character
love
designer
her.
even dunking
Actually,
on her.
it's called avant-garde.
Yeah.
It's fucking avant-garde, bro.
Let her wear whatever she wants.
There's multiple questions, actually, now that I'm looking at this, of fans asking about the marital status of characters, such as Ambassador Palino. Is he married?
He's taken.
They ask. And Yamazaki says, considering his age
Good
and just
luck.
how wonderful a person he is, I think he's already married. He probably has a nice wife and cute children, but now lives alone abroad for his work as an
Oh
ambassador.
no! Bring
Oh,
the
that's
kids
sad.
over! What the fuck? Why can't they live here?
Because murders happen.
Like once or twice or four, I guess.
There were a
Yeah.
lot of murders.
Lauren Pops is single.
Oh,
and
she
lastly,
sure is.
To confirm a fan theory, and one that we brought up here on the podcast, was the person inside the Proto Badger costume at the amusement park really the bellboy? It has to be him, right? And Yamazaki says, it was the bellboy. He's actually in a very high position within the Gatewater organization, so he was wearing that suit for an undercover inspection. He's someone who wants to know what's going on in the field.
Yo, I heard the bellboy's abs were ripped. I heard he has the 8-pack.
I heard he was shredded.
I heard he was fucking shredded. That's crazy.
So there's a couple other questions. There's one creepy one in here, which is a shame. And then there's some other questions about asking if the Jammin' Ninja is ever going to get a sequel.
Wait,
and that kind of stuff.
I do actually want to. I do want to
That's
tap
sweet.
into the weird undercover boss episode of the bellboy where he has to help solve a murder. There's an active murder investigation the day where he decides to go into work.
He would love it too. He'd fucking love it. He was
Oh my
all
God.
about the last one.
Oh,
all right, think about this: Gatewater land.
Oh no.
Crazy.
Oh, man.
It'd be-
Okay. So, we're here at the end. We have wrapped Ace Attorney Investigations 1. How do you all feel about this game? Just in general. We don't have to go super in-depth on it, but Dessy, you played this game once a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
How is it feeling to you now after all this?
I still like the first chunk of the game up until the last case. I remember having the fatigue at the end, but I just wanted to get through it. But no, I still like it overall. I still think it's a fun game. It was cool ideas. I'm glad they tried new things.
We had some really high highs, especially in case 4.
Yeah.
How about you, Tiago?
Oh shit. Here's how I feel. I'm not gonna give like an in-depth I'm not gonna give away the secret about how we play the games in between podcast recordings. But personally, what I do is that I start immediately after the recording, and then I just I hit the moment where it says, "Would you like to save your game?" and turn off the your thing, and I'm go, "Yeah, that sounds pretty good, game. Thank you for suggesting that." And this case had a lot of those. This case had the most of them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Damn, thank God I started this early, because Jesus, on a Christ alive, I would not be able to handle this." Overall game feel, I think it's wonderful. This is a break from the average Ace Attorney formula, which I think is really nice.
Take a break.
I think
from
it's funny.
That fucking text map that you had to go through every time you wanted to go somewhere.
I think it's very funny that wait, give me a second. I can get this. I think it's very funny that Miles Edgeworth is able to just insert himself into all these investigations that are active and ongoing.
Right.
Yeah, no,
not his jurisdiction at all.
Yeah, there's no more text map, thanks God.
You like running around, you like having the little sprites of your
Yeah, I like having
characters.
feet, bro. Having feet's pretty nice. I think
Feet.
I don't really have a negative about this game. Even though this case was kind of a slog, so was fucking 3-1-5, you know, there's some cases are just slogs. You know, and you take those. Does that mean I don't like I love this game. I think it's tight. It's not I don't know if it's my favorite. I cannot say that. But
I have
like
an
this one a
issue
lot.
with I have the issue with Ace Attorney games where every time I finish the game, I feel like I just ran a fucking 5K.
Yeah.
And my brain is literally has no more room for information.
Yeah. I hear that. I also agree with that.
I also felt like I ran a 5K after I finished this game.
I mean, here's the thing, Rose. We came into this game and you were promised a buffet of Miles Edgeworth.
I got so much Miles.
And you got so much of him.
So
Maybe
much.
more than you could tolerate.
He
times.
wasn't the problem.
True.
Except for the part where he can only face right and cannot face left. I'm still pissed off about that. I haven't forgotten, and I won't. Yeah, I liked the game overall. I talked shit in the beginning. I was like, wow, this is so easy. I'm so smart. And then this last case, I just couldn't figure it out. But I'm glad to know that other people also were like, what the fuck is this? It makes me feel a little better.
Rose is like, this is a game for babies.
This is a game for babies, and then it's like, present like the concept of
Fire.
you know, any like of like counterfeit money being set on fire, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Actually got that one right. I remember it because I got it right. So
After every other game being like, we need physical evidence.
yeah, and then in the end they're like, do you have physical evidence? And I'm like, I don't need it. I'm just gonna hit you in the head with a brick. Like, fuck off.
A very funny little brick.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah. So no, but I got pissed off. I genuinely did not like this last case, but I still liked the rest of the game so much that I am willing to call it an overall positive experience.
All right.
It was fun. I liked doing something a little different. I liked being Miles. I liked hearing what Miles was thinking. I wish he had been a little nicer to Gumshoe.
Yeah, you know what?
Always
Detract
needs
this
to be nice
letter
to
from my
Gumshoe.
rating because he was not nice to Gumshoe.
Yeah.
Gumshoe
I mean-
deserves like a fucking vacay, 20 mil, and a hot dog.
Yeah. Miles is a bitch
Samurai dog.
objectively. We all know
samurai
this.
dog.
But just like be
We
nicer
didn't
to
even talk
Gumshoe.
We didn't even talk about the stupid ass fucking ketchup on the blood dot on the
Oh,
samurai
yeah.
dog. God damn it! There's so much in this case. We didn't
It's
even
too
talk
much.
about that.
I
A
honestly,
Too
single
much.
drop of blood landed on the samurai dog case to make the flag look like the Japanese flag.
What are the odds?
the same odds
Insane.
that a cape catches on a bus. It makes it
Yeah,
look like
I'm
it's
still
flying
mad
through
about
the
that
air.
Yeah.
one too, because that's really not how that should have happened.
Also, the same odds as someone grabbing onto a wire from a bridge and swinging over to the other side. Also, the same odds as a gold statue being used as a pull-lovely system to smuggle through the
Yeah,
embassy.
none of these are selling me.
Also, the same odds as summoning my dead sister.
Yeah, that's fine actually.
All right.
That's got rules. It's got rules. It makes sense.
So, we are going to be taking a little break, folks.
Oh, jeez.
This is we're going to take a little break over the holidays here and recuperate.
God.
And then in January, exact
you.
timing to be determined,
January.
but we will have another podcast coming back out in which we start back up with Ace Attorney Investigations 2.
Two.
This is a sequel that was never released in America. And as a result, that means we are going to be playing a fan translation of the game.
I'm scared.
I'm
So-
sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, no, as far as my understanding is the fan translation is very well done. And they do their best to replicate the, stylings of regular Ace Attorney games. Like, all the characters have Japanese names that they then translate and give
We're
punny, Americanized
we're
names.
back in Japanifornia, is what you're saying.
We never
Yes,
left.
yeah. We're not going to suddenly be talking to Mitsurugi instead of Edgeworth, or anything like that.
It
We will
feels
still
weird.
have it.
It feels
Yeah,
weird.
they're going to
if we
still
It
were
would
keep
be
all the
weird.
localized names. So, I'll get all the proper credits for that when we start that up so that if you want to follow along, you can. But yeah, that is the plan, is to jump into Investigations 2. We've heard a lot of good things about this game, and
Wait.
part of me wonders, is it really that good? Or is it just the allure of it being the one that most people haven't gotten to play? So most people don't go out and download fan translations for games and load them up, on their hacked 3DSs or whatever.
Hey.
Which
Who
is
would do
it's so easy to hack your
Did
3DS.
you guys? Yeah, I was
Hey,
gonna
that's my
say,
line.
I was gonna say, let
That's head
Tiago
falls
say the
off
line.
line, but
That's true. Yeah, right. Credits to
That's their
Headphones off
tweet.
on Twitter. They're
but
funny.
but yeah, so we're going to be doing that. We will see what kind of pace we need for that, because this is also going to be the first time I'm playing it. I have not played this one before. So we are going to be in the rare boat where everybody on this podcast is going to be playing this one game for the first time. This is the one time where the whole conceit of the show changes. I'm no longer going to be the shepherd in these dark paths. Instead, we're all going to be venturing together as little adventurers in these caverns of investigations too.
Sheep adventurers.
We're little sheep attorneys wandering in the dark in this cave.
This is also a point in Ace Attorney where I think I stopped playing them.
Oh,
there was a little bit of a break, right? Yeah, because it was a period where Ace Attorney fans were like, "Wait a minute, are we not going to get these games in America anymore?" You know, we started to get worried.
Capcom?
I do remember this happening and these things being questioned when we were dating.
Yes,
because you were like, "Man, I hope we can get another Ace Attorney game." I remember you thinking like, maybe they'll announce Investigations too, localized, for America.
And it never happened. It never happened.
I'm imagining like fucking teenage Ben and Des. I don't know when you guys met. I think you guys met as adults, actually.
We met as
20.
like 20, yeah.
Yeah, I just imagine fucking college Ben and Des like being like, one day they'll release Investigations too. Like,
well, and here we all are.
Yep.
Here we all are.
So we have one other thing that I just want to say here as well, which thanks everybody for listening. It's been a year.
Really?
We've done this podcast for a year.
Oh shit!
Our first podcast episode went live on November 30th, 2021.
Wow!
Rose's
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Wait,
I just doxed Rose.
The podcast birthday, and I have the same birthday? Are you fucking shitting me? Oh my gosh!
Oh my.
Yeah, that's when the first podcast episode went live.
I never know what's happening in the world.
Rose, happy Ace Attorney Day.
Well, you got to remember that we didn't record it on your birthday.
You're right. We definitely
I just posted it because
Uh-huh.
we banked a couple episodes in advance at the time in preparation for the holidays because we weren't sure what our schedule would be like. Oh, the wisdom of my youth. If only I had done that this time.
The apocalypse kept happening for like a lot longer than we thought it was going to.
Right.
Wait.
So yeah, thanks everybody for sticking around for a year. It's been kind of crazy. We've it's been really fun to do this with all of you because one of you is my very lovely wife, who I love dearly, and the other two of you are some of my best friends in the whole world. And so it's been a lot of fun to like enjoy a game series together that means a lot to me. And I've been glad that you guys enjoyed this as well and didn't come out of it hating everything. You know, when I said, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast?" And you all were like, sure. And
sure, I know nothing. I know less than nothing.
Ben, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but way to fucking scarecrow us at the end of fucking Wizard of Oz with Des being like, "I'll miss you the most," and then there's like, "Oh yeah, there's a fucking Tin Man in the line over there."
Whoa! Hey, listen, we're not married to him.
Well, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? Well, my two best friends in the whole world, and then my fucking wife.
Wow.
Okay, listen, fair enough.
I'm sorry.
No, it's funny.
My wife has to come first.
I just want to say the line, "You scarecrowed us."
No, what really is happening here is I'm putting out my death flag. So
no.
Whoa.
He is an uncle, and his name is Ben.
Oh,
it's true.
Shit.
I'm an uncle now.
Shit.
So you gotta. If I die, my nephews, I've always said, they better get freaking spider powers.
Tell
out
them
of
to
this.
get bit by spiders.
I will personally bite them and make sure it happens.
No.
You can't start.
No biting
Tiago,
children.
man. Why? Children would bite back?
Yeah, that's dangerous.
We've seen this happen in this game.
True.
Can run around kicking people in the nuts and stuff.
Yeah, this has been a
Oh,
wonderful
also,
experience.
worth noting, while we're on the topic of biting, if you get bit by a human being, go to the fucking doctors.
What the fuck? Now
A medical moment from Dessy.
fucking incredible. What a wonderful experience.
Some
this has
solid
been.
advice on this podcast.
Things
Concussion.
you should go to the hospital for.
Concussion doctor.
Ace Attorney through the year is if you get a concussion, go to the fucking hospital. And if you get bit by another human being, go to the hospital.
Yeah.
But what if alright, so if they concuss me, but then I bite them, does it cancel out?
You both have to go to the hospital.
Now you both have some sort of disease.
Shit.
So yeah, This is why you're here, folks, isn't it? You're here for this.
Yeah.
This nonsense, right?
Well, dance.
So I just wanted to say
this?
thank you for listening. It's been a wonderful year, and I'm really glad we started this project. And I hope that you will enjoy as we keep going into the next year with more games. And
There's so many more games. There's still so many.
I'm so happy.
I've got some cool stuff lined up for next year.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. I can't say what, but I got some cool stuff lined up.
There's
so
like 5
hopefully
games
you will.
left.
Hopefully you'll enjoy all of that. So let's call it here. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We hope that you will rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform, especially the Apple reviews. They really do help a lot.
A lot.
Yes. So next episode, we will be playing the first case of Ace Attorney Investigations 2 when we return in January. Have a good holidays, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, and wash behind your ears.
Okay.